Enhancements to your intellectual asset management processes using AI. Hello, and welcome back to Invent Anything. Whether you're just starting to explore IAM or intellectual asset management, or looking to understand how AI can revolutionize the way you handle IP, this session offers a comprehensive overview of these both worlds. You discover how IAM forms the backbone of strategic innovation, but you'll also start understanding how AI is rapidly enhancing these processes. So from automating patent analysis, contract review, to predictive analytics or real-time collaboration and risk mitigation, AI is driving a new wave of performance in IAM. As we look towards the future, we'll learn about emerging AI technologies like symbolic reasoning or quantum machine learning, or things like emotion-aware agents, and how these are going to play a role in IAM. This is John Cronin from Invent Anything.
Inventions keep the world spinning. From fire in the wheel to today's high tech, inventions power change. Turn your inventions into reality. Learn how to get your ideas to market. This is Invent Anything with John Cronin.
In this episode, we'll cover 6 topics. The first is, for those that might not be familiar, we need to review what is intellectual asset management. In the second topic, we'll talk about the areas where today AI is being accepted or in places it's being resisted in the IAM process. We'll also, topic number 3, talk about enhancements that AI is doing to the IAM workflow. We'll also talk about AI enhancements to the IAM integration to other organizations, because IAM basically is a process into itself, but it integrates with the rest of the organization. We'll also talk about where AI enhancements have yet to occur in IAM, and why that is. And then we'll set in topic number 6, the future of thinking about the IAM sector and how AI is going to enhance that in the future. And I actually chose these topics so we can see the different ways that IAM today or in the future interact with the people, the process, and the whole results of IAM. And then, of course, we'll wrap up. For the audience, I think, as I thought about this podcast, certainly those not yet familiar with IAM, you can learn about it here at the same time you're learning about something new about how AI affects it. For those in small companies curious about how AI can help manage their patents or trade secrets or competitive intelligence, etc., this is for you. For those in larger organizations, you'll see exactly where AI can help you by helping you start to enhance your IAM workflows, and why more sophisticated automation is becoming essential. For those in management or leadership roles, where you're looking for a quick but strategic overview of how IA is reshaping IAM, this briefing is designed for you. For those who want a better understanding about the connection between AI-driven IAM strategic planning, resource optimization, this session kind of bridges these concepts, because it all does take resources to make all this work. Although AI actually helps minimize or eliminate, in many cases, resources, human beings. And for those just beginning your IAM journey, where you want to start to employ or deploy AI in IAM, this is definitely for you. I deal with a lot of my friends who are IAM directors, and I've been watching over time how AI has been impacting what they do on a daily basis. So welcome. So coming up, we're going to explore what intellectual asset management means, from things like cataloging and protecting intellectual assets, to aligning them with business goals or measuring the value of IP and turning them into revenue. You'll also discover how AI is transforming IAM by increasing efficiency, improving accuracy, allowing it to scale global operations. But also we'll see the pushback here. We'll see legal risks, creative limitations. We'll see things like trust and job security. Whether you're new to IAM or navigating the frontier of AI-driven IP strategy, this coming up session will help you picture where all this is headed. So let's get into topic number 1. What is IAM? In my role at IBM, when I ran the IBM patent factory for about a decade, I considered myself kind of a IAM manager, if you will. I wasn't an attorney. I worked with R&D. I was in between these two worlds. And what I had to do is help IBMers understand their inventions and get them filed and develop IP strategies and run brainstorming sessions and run creativity sessions and deal with free to operate or evidence of use and any of the IP issues that came up where the attorneys needed the help of the engineers. IAM was between those two. The IBM Patent Factory was pretty unique because it had tremendous results. We went from about 1,000 patents a year to 3,500 patents a year with our group. And we also went from about 20 million to 2 billion a year in licensing for royalty income. So we had tremendous results. So the IBM Patent Factory was just one example of IAM, but that's where I cut my teeth. And over the last 27 years, a number of my clients and companies have had this sort of similar role, and they call themselves the IAM director. So what is IAM anyway? Well, the first thing that it does is help identify and catalog inventions and ideas, systematically extracting and documenting intellectual assets, whether they be patents or trade secrets or publications. Another thing IAM does is help to protect and legal, safeguard things. So they'll secure the appropriate legal protection. So if it's a patent, they'll get it issued or filed. Trademarks or copyrights or trade secrets, they'll put it in trade secret registry. A third thing that the IAM professionals do is help to create an understanding of the value of the IP or the ideas through valuation. So they use economic models to inform strategic decisions about what to file or not. One of the key roles of IAM is strategic alignment. That is, they ensure management and the utilization of intellectual assets are in harmony. Which inventions could drive the products and which inventions should be held trade secret and which inventions should be pushed further out. These are all part of the sort of strategic alignment that IAM does in an organization. And of course, one of the real indicators of strength of IAM is how well that group can help commercialize and monetize the inventions, exploring and implementing strategies to generate revenue or to stop competitors where you can actually calculate the ROI. Another key area, and this is where the IAM director works a lot with patent counsel or IP counsel, is risk management, identifying and mitigating risks associated with intellectual assets. What happens when a key inventor leaves the organization? What happens when there's some sort of misappropriation of a trade secret? What happens when patents are no longer covering the product, etc.? Another specific and a little bit more esoteric IAM function is compliance and regulatory, here ensuring that the organization is handling the intellectual assets, complying with regulations and laws and industry standards. Another area, again, important, IAM handles the process monitoring and reporting of results, offering to management how many ideas and patents are being generated per week or per month and by what organization. Are they on track to get the funnel full with ideas and inventions? And also in the back end, how they're doing with managing the cost of intellectual property or how they're monetizing to generate revenue. A key part of IAM is education and awareness. I could tell you that constantly when I was running the patent factory, that I'd be called on a weekly or monthly basis to present the importance of invention and IP to IBM. So these IAM people, managers or project leaders, are essentially educating constantly the importance of invention or of intellectual property or trade secrets, etc. And finally, what an IAM person might do is help become part of the whole collaboration or partnership arrangements between, say, a JV or an M&A, or a supplier or some partnership to really cover off how to deal with the rights of their company and the rights of the partner and how to make sure that's tracked and bifurcated correctly. There's so many things that an IAM director does, but these just sort of highlights it so you can get an idea of what this IAM director is doing. Now let's switch gears. Let's talk about AI acceptance or resistance in the IAM circles, if you will. There's magazines written on IAM. There are conferences held on IAM. People that are in IAM have networks of their friends that are in IAM and other companies. They benchmark each other. So it is a community. There's no question. But in some communities or some companies, AI is helpful and accepted. In some communities or circles, AI is not used or actually considered dangerous. Let me give you 5 areas where it's well received and 5 areas where it's not. One area where it's well received is that certainly it can increase efficiency and cost. You can automate time-consuming tasks like prior art searches or docketing, or reducing costs by freeing up human resources to do less everyday searching and have it be more applied to strategic thinking. Another place it's well received is to improve the accuracy and risk reduction. That is, you can use machine learning to detect inconsistencies. You can look at legal deadlines and make sure they're met. You can reduce the risk of misfilings or invalid claims even by doing search on claims based upon the structure of prior art. So there's a lot of ways to improve accuracy and reduce risk. A third area is using AI to do data-driven decision-making. This is what AI is really great at. It can read hundreds of documents in seconds. It enables you to do deep analytics on patent portfolios or litigation history or market trends, and really can help your team be smarter. Another area where it's well received is competitive advantage. That is, if your firm is using AI in your IAM process and your competitors are not, you have a distinct advantage because you can do things faster, cheaper, you won't miss patterns. You may monetize your assets even more effectively. Because an AI agent, whether it's ChatGPT or Grok or whatever the agent is, or one of these larger companies that may offer sort of IP-related AI agents, basically an AI agent is like having 100 interns for free, basically. A final area where it's well received is on scalability for when you're trying to take something as a model and then roll it out amongst thousands. Nothing's better than building tools that everyone can use. You build it once and get the track record going, and then you roll it out to the organization. Well, those are some of the good areas, but of course, there are areas where AI and IAM really don't mix together well. For instance, lack of trust and transparency. Many of the AI systems are sort of black boxes, and nobody knows what's going on inside that black box. So it's obvious that legal entities might not, patent attorneys, et cetera, might not want to take the advice of this AI because they don't know how it was designed. Another thing is the fear of replacement of your job. I just mentioned that an AI agent is like having 1,000 interns. Well, if you're a person that's an intern, you'd be worried about that. Or even a person that's a manager. With an AI agent can do pretty much all the things that you were doing from a bookkeeping standpoint, etc. Another area that's not well received is liability and compliance. Like, for instance, what happens if the AI makes a legal error? Who do you blame? What happens if an AI does too much enabling of an invention where it should be the inventor, but it can't be based on the laws? So there's a lot of areas where liabilities and compliance could be a risk. Why not well received? Another area it's not well received is, onboarding costs and learning curves. You see, legacy IAM processes are all good, but the problem is that if you bring on a new tool that takes time, it's disruptive. And another place I think, I don't see this personally because of my use of AI, but I see this in a lot of people whereby if they don't fully embrace it and they think there's going to be a risk to using it, then it's a real impact or negative in strategic thinking and creativity because, you can't replace the high level judgment. And so if you use it a lot, you'll see that AI can't replace that high level judgment. And therefore, where does high level begin, right? Is it determining whether one invention should be filed or some overall strategy? So where do you use AI on strategic thinking? It's a really difficult thing. So there are places where it's well received, places where it's not. I could make a whole podcast about this. I could say that the places that it's useful, that's great. Where it's not well received, I could tell you just wait. Just wait. Because every day in every way, less and less is going to be well received and more is going to be done with AI. Well, coming up, you're going to learn how AI is transforming the core IAM processes, from automation of patent searches and drafting, to valuing assets, to managing infringement risk, streamlining contracts. We'll also explore how AI extends AIM beyond the company's walls, powering smarter collaboration through real-time data sharing, how you can do NDA reviews real-time with both parties, how open innovation matching is helping. So whether innovation is really hot, fast at your company or just running steady state, IAM assisted by AI can help with those workflows and speed them up and make them more cost efficient and give you more data to make decisions. So we'll learn about how AI is transforming the core IAM functions and also how it can go beyond the company walls to other parts of the organization. So topic number 3, AI enhancements to the IAM process or workflow. The reason for this section was I wanted to kind of carve out specifically the workflows and how AI can help IAM. And it's pretty exciting stuff. I've been doing AI in IAM in my firm, IP Capital, for about 5 or 6 years now, improving our efficiency. So when we service clients, we can help make their efficiency go up. So the first here is prior art searches. AI tools can swiftly analyze vast patent databases, identify relevant prior art, streamline the patent application process. You can use some AI tools to perform efficient prior art searches by entering in just even a patent number or keyword. So if you have an idea, you can put that idea as a paragraph into an AI. The AI can go find relevant patents. It can read those patents. It can tell you the difference between those patents and your invention, and then produce a prior art report. And they're pretty good. A prompt engineer that actually does this, if he's first class, it would be very difficult to see a prior art report that's done by an AI agent versus done by a professional, because they'll look the same. If the prompt engineer was an AI, it was a prior art professional, because you can write AI prompts to look like an AI, to look like a prior art professional. Another area where the IAM workflow is impacted is intelligent patent drafting. There are right now, I think, about 8 or 9 companies that are suggesting that if you buy their tool, that you interact with it and the AI writes up your patent application. I can tell you, we've benchmarked a lot of these, and they help, but trusting them all the way, no, I don't. I just recently talked to a patent firm who's looked at all these other out where they said that these AI patent drafting tools are not really that good. It actually makes them skeptical, but I think it's going to come better and better. But patent drafting is certainly one way that AI, I think, is going to come in and help the IAM workflow. Another thing is where AI helps in IAM is predictive patent analytics. You can use machine learning algorithms to look at trends and predict where the white space is going to get filled up, add strategic decision making. Another area which is available now in some of the larger tools is automatic trademark monitoring, to kind of have an AI system continue to scan for trademark violations. And there's some business models that are really cool that allows it to scan to find those that are violating your trademarks. Another area that the IAM workflows are being improved with AI is on portfolio management operation. Basically, you're taking your IP portfolio and automating the workflows, like platforms that might streamline the process of which patent offices to file, and when the office actions are due, and how to answer an office action, etc. Or looking at status changes or deadlines, etc. So there's a lot of places that AI can help the IAM workflow for patent portfolio management. We mentioned this before, but another place that AI can help is on valuation. You can now have AI tools that assess the value of intellectual property by looking at market trends related to the claims, doing some comparable transactions, and sort of creating a formatted output of the market value. A lot of the patent tools today have some level of a valuation, not a number value, but things like between 1,000 being good and 100 being not so good. And some tools are actually in the patent mapping, in the patent analytics tools, are actually giving some rough estimations as to the value of a per patent. One of the great places that we believe that AI is going to help is in real-time infringement detection. We even at IP Capital have written a tool we call Elephant IP, whereby you can go out, you take a look at your patent and go find products that relate to create an evidence of use document. Another area where automation and IAM is going to be helped by AI is contract analysis management. Here, you can have AI automate looking at the contract, find related contracts, extract out key terms, and ensure compliance. You can have intelligent sort of agreement management that leverages all this. Even like reviewing an NDA, which happens constantly. You can have an AI agent read that NDA and see if it lines up with the terms of your NDA. The ideas are limitless here in what it could do to help workflow. Another area that can help IAM with AI is access management. That is that IAM can automate the authentication and detection of security issues, like making sure the inventor is real, or to take a look at sort of inbound emails to see if trade secrets are being divulged on the outbound, or to see if inbound emails are kind of trying to get at technical information. So there's a lot of IAM that deals with the trade secret theft and cybercrime, and AI can certainly help there, right at the edge between your enterprise's computer and the outside world. And then, of course, we have generative AI. That could be used for innovation, where AI can assist in generating new ideas. We've written over the years a number of tools to be a sort of brainstorming tool, ones which were very simple with creativity tools, to one which was more of a conversant AI virtual assistant, to even today, we have tools that run as large language model based brainstorming tools. I remembered when ChatGPT first came out, and I wrote a paper that ChatGPT wasn't very creative. That's because I know how to benchmark what creative thinking is in the areas of it and the sub areas of it. It was kind of interesting. 3 weeks later, I was invited to come back to ChatGPT because they said it was creative, and sure enough, the kind of things that I had suggested were now built into ChatGPT. Now, I'm not to say that I was the one that made that happen. I was just part of that process, but these AI tools are getting more and more creative. So let's go to topic number 4. How about AI helping IAM with the other organizations that are connected to the IAM group? Normally you have R&D, right? And you have IP groups, and IAM stands between the two of them. But what about all the other groups? So one thing we do and know is that AI can power the integration of data sets. You could have claims of patents, for instance, be linking to products and flag whether a product is on or off a patent. So now AI is helping the integration of IAM to the product group. You can have AI help with competitive IP analytics to share the IP analytics so you can co-monitor this with other parts of the organization, like the competitive intelligence group. You can use kind of an AI landscape with marketing, an AI IP landscape with marketing. So marketing can actually see where the IP is being headed. And vice versa, you could take marketing data and inform your IP competitive intelligence. One of the great things about AI is we're seeing it in smart contracts right now, in blockchains, for instance. So you can have AI-enabled smart contracts helping with IAM, meaning some part of that contract is going to have intellectual property rights. So IAM can help there to attach itself to that part of the blockchain. You can have AI help for open innovation to match an organization's underutilized IP assets with external startups or research institutes or governments contracts. So you can now use AI to help you do open innovation. You can use AI to help with real-time collaboration and risk detection. So you can flag exposure risks. So during sort of a JV project, you can have alerts when the company you're doing a JV with, you see they're publishing technical disclosures in areas of the overlap that they shouldn't. We talked about NDAs, but automating an NDA process where all the IP clauses are reviewed certainly would save a lot of time. It could be sort of an ability to have an AI IAM agent that's looking at contracts like NDAs between the company and whoever the contracts are with. We talked about valuation, but now we can take our AI and use valuation and integrate it right into our M&A process. We could take, for instance, a tech company uses AI to assess a portfolio and the strength of the startup before acquisition. So for companies that do a lot of acquisitions, this can be a very key tool. You can look at 10 times more companies because looking at a company is expensive. But with AI, you can lower the cost of looking at a company to buy and therefore raise the quality of the companies you end up buying. Another great thing about AI is trade secret leak detection. So you can literally watch how people are conversing through their emails or papers and literally detect divulgation before it happens. A couple more. One of the places that IAM can help with integration to outside organizations outside of itself is doing like IP announcements and doing surveillance. So you can have AI that's guided by IAM looking at what goes on the website or what goes into technical papers or marketing papers. And another area that AI can help IAM is the detection of things like rogue inventors. An inventor leaves the company, works for another company. Well, that inventor may start filing patents or writing papers or working with others. The product of the company that the rogue inventor went to all of a sudden starts looking a lot like the products you were developing. So you can use an AI agent specifically for sort of rogue inventor, efforts, and on and on and on. So we can see how AI basically enhances IAM workflow. We can also see how AI enhances how IAM's workflow attaches to all the other organizations. Well, coming up, what we're going to see is there's other areas that we want to talk about, like human judgment, emotional intelligence, how you do licensing negotiations, litigation, risk management. So we're going to talk about areas where AI can literally help enhance in places that it's not yet enhanced yet, because we believe that AI is going to be enhancing other areas that we haven't mentioned yet. And then we'll talk about the future, things like how AI can evolve with things like quantum machine learning, neurosymbolic reasoning, or some sort of agent-based automation. So stay tuned to have us talk about areas where AI can enhance areas that IAM has not yet explored, not rejected yet, or not developed, and also the future of AI enhancements to IAM. So stay tuned. So let's jump into topic number 5, places where AI enhancements haven't yet occurred. One place that it hasn't yet occurred, and I think it's ripe for this, is legal ownership and determination. To literally be interviewing the inventor and looking what it's writing and asking which inventor made contributions to the claims. Who owns what? Another place that AI has not yet, found its way, but it's coming, is ethical decision making. That is, having an AI system equipped to make very nuance-based ethical decisions, like the morality of enforcing certain patents or copyrights. What I mean by morality is that sometimes it's dead direct, others it's nuanced. So you might be thinking about maybe developing some sort of, litigation, which the strategy is really a bluff or a business tool. And the AI might be able to help you determine where that is, because it does affect companies when they're trying to ethically make decisions about when they should litigate or not. Another place where AI has not yet found its way in IAM is strategic IP portfolio planning, because that's where everything comes together. Here you can analyze AI data and find out where it's falling short, where you need better IP, and then look at long-term company interests and business objectives, and the AI can come back and then start saying where the white space should be. So that takes a lot of data, and it's really what an IP strategist would do today. Somebody like myself, after about 30, 40 years of experience, AI can certainly come in and start having a big part of that experience, especially for small companies. Another thing is we can start using AI in IAM to negotiate license agreements. Now, it could be behind the scenes, right? You're negotiating a license agreement, in comes the upgraded LOI, you pop it into your AI, have your AI kind of look at that LOI and give you some thinking to go back and forth. And so behind the scenes, certainly you could use it today. But I'm talking about the future where your AI agent literally becomes a portal to do licensing agreements. Now, this may not sound far-fetched because a lot of large companies today have portals where they do inbound licensing, where you have to go through a whole set of questions and answers before the IP will actually be allowed in to be further assessed. Why not use AI there? Another place where it hasn't yet found its place, that is AI and IM, is contextual understanding of innovation. AI may probably struggle to grasp the broader concepts of innovation, particularly in emerging fields where there's not a lot of historical data. So let's just say electric vehicles, there's a lot of data associated with electric vehicles, and maybe the innovation is going to be in the way AI basically handles that digital data for security, but also at the same time for determining, where the car, might decide to make some turns and stop and start, but it's reading lots of signs and it's making lots of decisions, but a lot of that data is being kept. So contextually, the innovation is going to start struggling with how much data should it take in and how should it do the analysis. And so that innovation, the broader context may be how to deal with the security versus the data that you need to use all the time. And the AI today is probably not utilized for that. It's probably more utilized for one of the two things, like how to get the directions or how to deal with the privacy, but moving that together, that contextual understanding of innovation. Another area where where AI might be able to help IAM in the future is adaptation to legal challenges. Like supposing there's some new regulation or some new IP law, some new, patent office regulation change or workflow change or some new case law that comes down. So how does AI adapt itself to that new case law so that it may properly update its analysis and strategic recommendations to counsel? There's always this problem with cultural sensitivity. And when we start thinking about, places where IAM has not had AI help it, it's in cultural sensitivity, meaning how do you manage IP across different cultures and across different customs and practice areas? So AI, might do very well in a structured environment like a global national company where they make software, but the same tool might find itself kind of out of sorts when it's dealing with, say, food that deals with, certain countries, because the cultures of the countries depend a lot upon the product, where in other places the cultures of the country don't have a lot to do with the product. So cultural sensitivities is an area that I think is ripe for AI to start working on, which means a lot of corpus data to use to understand all these different cultures. Another place that we find that it might be useful in the future, but it's not doing this yet, is creative IP generation. I mean, yes, I talk about ChatGPT being creative, but I'm actually talking about how you can find truly novel ideas and inventions, sort of replacing that human endeavor of creativity. That's the real challenge today. Will AI take over what the human being does? Maybe with general intelligence, it will. Right now, the patent offices would say AI can't invent. Is that going to change? Another place where it hasn't yet been involved is sort of personalized agents. So it's one thing to create a general tool for an organization. It's a whole other thing to create an AI tool for IAM that's personalized for that IAM manager. Some AI managers have very broad roles. Some IAM managers have very specific, smaller roles. So how do I customize it? How do I customize an IAM agent for someone, say, in the chemistry field versus IAM in the robotic field? So personalized IAM is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. I believe it will all be done over time. It just has to be done by developing the basic tool and then customizing it for the different, personalization. And finally, we have risk assessment and IP litigation. Right now it's very rudimentary what AI can do. But I could imagine looking at the patent literature constantly, looking at the products that are going out and flagging that there's some sort of litigation risk. And that would be a great place for Freedom to Operate, a real-time AI IAM agent for Freedom to Operate. I could go on and on and on again about all the places where AI is not used in IAM, because IAM is a vast field of workflows. And so there's a lot of places yet to be attacked. So when you say AI and IAM, that's a huge world. Most people only think about it like, can it help me draft a better invention disclosure? But the world is 150,000 times bigger than that. So let's get into topic number 6, the fun part. What about the future? What does the IAM sector look like in the future using AI? Well, one way to look at this is to sort of look at the different types of AI and ask yourself what could be done with that. So for instance, multimodal AI, right? It looks at text and images and audios. So maybe the AI can compare textual patent claims with the visual designs and the diagrams of the patent. That'd be a great way to do multimodal AI. Maybe as the inventor is being interviewed with the AI can determine when the inventor really understands what they're doing versus when they're trying to make things up, and therefore the AI flags that there could be some enablement issues. Another key place in the future is autonomous agent frameworks, whereby you can deploy like agent-based IAM bots that would do a number of things, like monitor the IP lifecycle, identify a renewal deadline, then draft the filings, notify the stakeholders, all those little workflows, making an autonomous agent. And that's very possible. This agency is the next step to AI, creating an AI agent that does multiple little workflows as one automation. Another place, which is really fascinating, is to use real-time large language models as agents that continually look at things over time, like IP filings and competitive moves, litigation data, bring all that into a large language model So you could figure out like X just filed in Y domain and therefore we need a defensive strategy. All that's in our near future. Another AI direction for technology is synthetic data generation. That is, you generate realistic but synthetic information and use that to test the portfolio, like creating prior art for, for filing your patent and having an AI agent pretend this prior art is there to see how you can get around it. And so you bring in a corpus of the closest patents to the patent you want to file and use sort of synthetic data to pretend it's the examiner. Another future area is federated AI for confidential IP training. And here what's happening is large firms could collaborate in a federated way, almost like benchmarking, without exposing their private data to actually do benchmarking. A lot of companies in IAM do benchmarking of best practices. So here AI could be built on a federated platform. One of the areas I think our future is going to see AI be everywhere is in neurosymbolic AI, meaning that you could start doing pattern recognition of AI in very structured and reasoned way of symbolic systems. So you can like build a system that looks at logic trees and AI automatically identifies the gaps in the trees, looks for redundancies. For instance, you could find a clause that conflicts in a contract with some jurisdictional law, so you have a corpus of jurisdictional law and a corpus of contracts against your contracts and sort of symbology, trying to find that connection. Another area for AI, and this is more towards quantum computing, is quantum machine learning, where it's great for finding lots of variables. I mean, there's 140 fields in the patent literature. Every patent is about 140 fields. There's all sorts of information about the inventor by their geolocation. There's all sorts of information about a company and its 10K filings and all that stuff. There's a lot of data there. So to use quantum machine learning to find patterns, to find hidden innovation clusters, or find places of sort of unseen infringement that you could find, or maybe finding ways that there's new pharmacology inventions by looking at the patent literature and looking at the health records and so on and so forth, using quantum machines to really go through all that data to find unique patterns. Another area is sort of using emotional awareness for AI. And so there's a lot of work now where the AI becomes emotionally aware. We mentioned this could be used, say, in negotiation to help you kind of have an immersive human-like AI experience to help you, be a negotiator, at least a blinded negotiator that can work, on your side. There's generative AI, which is the new way that we can extend AI, where you can like draft patent claims as you're building an invention disclosure, and then basically the generative AI is checking against the MPEP, the Manual for Patent Examination Procedures, asking you questions like you could say, claim one you're generating basically is similar to this patent, and the claim needs to be narrowed. So the AI agent is playing kind of the cross between a competitive IP searcher and a patent attorney as you're writing up the invention. And then, of course, we have AI that looks at spatial things over time. So AI can be used for predictive valuation. What could you do to this particular invention and change it so it has a more valuable future? So there's a lot of different things that can be used for AI in the future for IAM. I mentioned 10 of them here. Well, let's wrap up. So what did we do? We had topic number one. We talked about what IAM is. We talked about all the things that IAM does, things like extracting inventions, protecting and valuing, aligning intellectual assets, making sure the trade secrets and the copyrights are all filed. We talked about the legal safeguardings. We talked about risk mitigation. We talked about all the things about how to sort of take the core assets and understand through tools like AI what would be its value. There's a lot of things that IAM does that AI can be applied to. In our second topic, we talked about the enhancements that can be made to the IAM process workflow. Clearly, one of the big places right now is patent drafting, but we talked about all sorts of ways that you can like do competitive advantage, where you can look at, trust, liability, and things like that. We talked about, all the places you can enhance the workflow so that you can literally help the IAM process through all the different workflows. We did talk about, in topic number 3, how AI enhancement to the IAM process or workflow be used so you could do things like boost efficiency, boost accuracy, we can have better strategic alignment. We talked about leveraging tools for predictive analytics or for portfolio management. We even talked about how to manage and capitalize on intellectual assets so you can have greater precision and agility in things like valuing and monetizing your portfolio. In topic number 4, we talked about how IAM can integrate with other organizations. Here we talked about AI expanding the boundaries of what it does in IAM to collaborate between organizations by smart contracts or real-time risk reduction or shared analytics between what you're doing and say what marketing is doing. We talked about how it could look at things like trade secret leaks. We talked about things like how it could be used to make NDA clauses and matching more precise and more real time. We talked about, hey, AI could transform all these sort of legal processes to make it more dynamic. So it really can touch other organizations, from marketing to products to security to IT, all those areas. In topic number 5, we talked about where AI can enhance where it yet hasn't gone. Like it hasn't gone into things like legal ownership, ethical decision-making, licensing negotiations. It hasn't gone into things like contextual judgment or persuasion or cultural awareness. We talked about how it might struggle right now, but maybe in our future, to have a personalized client advisory AI agent, or even how it can assess things like litigation risks. So there's certainly a lot of places where AI in IAM can be helpful. And finally, we ended up in topic number 6, which is how AI can help us in the future of IAM. Look, there's so many things to talk about here, but we just knocked off a few. So IAM could really be helped by AI, such as multimodal systems, like adding different like video and text together or voice, so that you can have the patent tool actually look at the claims and then look at the figures and make some assessment. We talked about federated learning, quantum machine learning, looking at all the patterns available from the patent literature with other corpuses. We talked about real-time competitive monitoring. We talked about how the tool could go beyond this to look at emotions and awareness. We talked about how it can go from claim drafting, certainly, but predictive spatial to look at time, to even suggest over the future how to write claims so to be more market-driven towards the future market. We talked about this and all the ways that it can align both with the legal side and outside the legal side to help the corporation really expand. There's plenty of ways that AI can help enhance IAM in the future. So I'm going to go back to basics. I started to do this podcast because I have a lot of friends that are in IAM. I myself at IBM was in IAM for about 10 years of my career. And over the last 27 years, I've been working with companies, about 2,000 of them, 15% of the Fortune 500, to essentially look at this function called AIM. Certainly IAM, if you know what it is, AI certainly start to pop up there. Certainly there are places where it's now accepted. There's a lot of places where it's not. A lot of places feared. Certainly as we start to move on, we recognize it can help with workflow and be like an intern. An AI can be like 1,000 interns for you. It can start doing a lot of the work. But as it starts to do that, it helps IAM for sure if it's received. But also it will impact other parts of the organization. IAM will impact things like marketing and product and R&D and the CEO and the CTO's office. It helps with the culture and the mood, getting people inspired to do creative thinking. So IAM has that, and so AI following IAM will do that. But then we also talked about places that it has yet to go. So where is it going to go? It's going to go to all those places, things like culture, emotion, risk management, blockchain, etc. And finally, the future is just endless. I saw a chart today of 60 different areas with hundreds of companies in each area of AI being written. There isn't a day go by that there's not some new AI tool that can relate to IAM. So I'm not sure what the IAM manager at the end of the day actually does, because there's so much coming at them. My advice is to just start. Unfortunately, the corporations, if you look at my last podcast, corporations don't really like you to bring in AI into the corporation. They'd rather see it come in a big tool that's robust, enterprise safe. So there's going to be this huge problem. It's in the first podcast I did on AI and IP director, that there's a real problem. So that real problem in the first podcast is now thrown into the second podcast because it affects IAM a lot, but it still has the same problems of will it come in or not. So I'll leave that up to you, but I hope this podcast is helping show where IAM can be helped by AI and where it might not be helped yet in the future roadmap. This is John Cronin, Invent Anything. Thanks. And if you liked it, please thumbs up. And if you like, come see our blog at Invent Anything and our new series at Inventors at Work.